Keep the game going with the PCN Select app. Subscribe now to watch this championship on demand or purchase digital downloads, Blu-rays, and DVDs of PCN Sports Championships. Go to PCNTV.com to purchase today.
Live from Hershey Park Stadium, it's the PIAA Boys 2A Soccer Championship between Lancaster Mennonite out of District 3 and Quaker Valley out of District 7. And alongside Brian Kaiser, I'm Ari Bluestein. Thank you for joining us here on PCN for some championship soccer. Pretty good matchup here. You got a District 3 team against a District 7 team, and both of these teams certainly know how to win.
I think it's a great matchup between these two teams because you've got Quaker Valley, the team that was in the championship game a year ago and arguably had the better of the play against Lewisburg one season ago. They're back, very confident, looking to get that extra step. And you've got Lancaster Mennonite, who has a lot of program history and a team that just knows how to win when it gets to the playoffs. They've been building this team for quite some time, and they're ready to go today.
The Blazers are led by head coach Fred Winey, who has done a very nice job with this team, 26-1 this year.
It's sensational work with this team, and they've really been building this team, and they just keep getting better and better. They play intelligent soccer. This is a team that really reads the game extremely well, and they're going to have to today when they take on this Quaker Valley team. Their best player, though, it's arguable, but the guy who's all-state's the guy we're going to look at, and that's number 7, Ben Lefevre. You talk about a junior midfielder who has done a little bit of everything. He can set the table. He can score 20 goals, 10 assists on the season, had the game-winning goal in their semifinal game against the two-time defending state champion in Lewisburg. His coach says he's the complete package. I'm not going to disagree one bit.
Well, he's an all-state performer, and Lancaster Mennonite has a lot of really good players. Ben Lefevre is one of them. For Quaker Valley, they were the District 7 runners-up, led by head coach Andrew Marshall, a very confident Quaker Valley team coming into today.
No question about it. Different demeanor to Andrew today, too, because a year ago, it was a little bit different. It was their first trip here. They were feeling their way out. Today, man, he was loose, he was confident, and he should be because he has an outstanding soccer team that he's been coaching. And the guy that last year, this year is the trigger guy is number 10, Landon Grant. Senior midfielder, 36 goals, 24 assists on the season. He scores goals in big situations too, has 3 of the team's last 4 goals being in the last 2 games. He also kicks for the football team, who tomorrow plays the WPIAA championship game. So he's got a championship game here for the state title. Then he goes back and immediately will play in a district championship game tomorrow on Heinz Field. Great leader, fantastic work rate. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
It really should be. And Quaker Valley, Lancaster Mennonite, like you mentioned, Quaker Valley, they were here last year. Lancaster Mennonite was not. What are the keys really for Quaker Valley? Let's take a look at them to this time take home the gold instead of coming up short in this game.
I think the main thing is just to finish your chances. And what they did a year ago was they really possessed the ball extremely well. And you can expect them to try to do the same exact thing. I would expect the majority of the possession to be with Quaker Valley, and for Lancaster Mennonite, for them to try to disrupt things a little bit and also maybe absorb a little bit and look for the counterattack. But I'm looking forward to what should be an outstanding matchup here in Boys AA.
Now, we mentioned that Lancaster Mennonite defeated Lewisburg to get to this game. Lewisburg, the defending state champ, and they defeated Quaker Valley last year. How much of a chance do you have for Lancaster Mennonite to come out on top, having not been here last year at Hershey Park?
The program, though, has been here, and while the players haven't been, Fred Winey as a head coach has. He's been a coach of the year in the state before. He's been here and he knows how to prepare a team. So I think where there might be some teams that come in this week who haven't been here before, having that experience leading the team, knowing how to prepare a team for a state championship game comes into play here, and that's where Coach Winey is very good.
The PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship coming up next here on PCN. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups here at Hershey Park Stadium.
After a great victory over Union forces in June 1863, Robert E. Lee marches his army to Pennsylvania. The advancing Confederates clash with General Meade's Union Army at Gettysburg. beginning the most famous battle of the Civil War. Explore our nation's past and the Gettysburg battlefield with the Gettysburg Collection. Become a member to stream hundreds of Gettysburg videos online, on the app, and on Roku. Learn more at gettysburgcollection.com.
The PCN family. Our roots run deep. What grew out of a plan to distribute educational programming has grown into the nation's leading statewide public affairs network. Since 1979, PCN has been supported by cable operators across the state. It is because of this generous support that PCN uses no state or federal tax dollars, reaching more than 10 million of our neighbors. Thank your cable operator. We do.
Welcome back to Hershey Park Stadium. Alongside Brian Kaiser, I'm Ari Bluestein. We're getting set for the PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship between the Quaker Valley Quakers and the Lancaster Mennonite Blazers. And at this time, we are ready for the starting lineup, so we'll turn it over to PIAA announcer Ryan Hartman here at Hershey Park Stadium.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chocolate Town, USA, the sweetest place on earth. The historic Hershey Park Stadium, home to the 2017 PIAA Soccer Championships. In today's AA Boys Final, they represent District 3 and the Lancaster Lebanon League, coming in with a record of 26 wins and 1 loss. Please welcome the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite High School. Their opponent, representing District 7 and the WPIAL, coming in with a record of 22 wins and 2 losses, welcome the Quakers of Quaker Valley. Your championship officials for today's match are Bruce Weinstock, David Mattis, and Eric Smith. And now let's meet the starting lineups for today's game. First off, for Lancaster Mennonite, their head coach, Fred Winey, assisted by Jordan Sands, Sean Bueller, and Jim Amstutz. Here's the starting lineup for the Blazers. Wearing number 3, senior midfielder, Brett Diller. Junior forward, number 4, Shota Totani. Wearing number 5, senior midfielder, Chet Huber. Junior midfielder, wearing number 7, Ben Lefevre. On defense, a senior number 9, Zach Steffen. Wearing number 10, senior forward, Matthew Lynch. Also on defense, senior number 12, Dominic Matilio. Junior forward, number 14, Tyler Wagner. Wearing number 15, a senior defense, Max Brubaker. Senior number 16 on defense, Andrew Nell. And starting in goal today for the Blazers, a senior wearing 0, Carter Hurst. The Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite. And now here's the starting lineup for Quaker Valley. Their head coach, Andrew Marshall, assisted by J.J. Vecchio and Steve Oberly. Here's the starting 11 for the Quakers. Wearing number 6, senior defense, Oliver Wilson. At forward, a senior number 7, Ian Rogers. Senior midfielder number 10, Landon Grant. Wearing number 12, senior defense, Caleb Bender. In the midfield, a sophomore number 12, Caleb Dom Ryder. Wearing number 15, senior midfielder, Sebastian Correa. In the midfield, sophomore number 16, Fritz Ryder. On defense, a junior number 17, Nolan Carver. Wearing number 20, a forward, sophomore, Frankie Fernandez. On defense, a sophomore number 21, Tommy Gill. And starting in goal today for the Quakers, a junior wearing number 1, Dom Lagnese. The Quakers of Quaker Valley High School. And now, ladies and gentlemen, prior to kickoff, we would ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
ready to go for the PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship game between the Quaker Valley Quakers out of District 10 in Leetsdale, Pennsylvania, as they take on the Lancaster Mennonite Blazers out of Lancaster, PA, not too far away from Hershey Park Stadium. And I know based on the location, you've got Quaker Valley coming from the Pittsburgh area, WPIL, and then you have Lancaster Mennonite coming from basically around the corner. Does that have a factor at all in this game? Maybe an advantage for Lancaster Mennonite? I see a lot of black and gold in the crowd right now.
I'm going to say no, only because it's a big advantage if you're going to bring out a huge throng of people and get a lot of the surrounding area. Because of the time of the game, you're not going to have that. And you also have a very vocal Quaker Valley section, as you can see right there. They are raring to go for this game and should be. This is going to be, when looking at the games coming into this week, I thought that the AA boys grouping was very strong, especially the teams that made it the furthest. A lot of times you'll have somebody sneak through who you don't expect. That didn't happen in AA boys. The group that was there at the end was rock solid, and the two teams I kind of expected to make it are here as well, because they have borne out to be the two best teams in the state.
Lancaster Mennonite, the champions out of District 3, defeated Lansdale Catholic out of District 12, Notre Dame Green Pond out of District 11, and the defending 2A champ Lewisburg in the semifinals to get here. Quaker Valley defeated St. Mary's, the District 9 champ, that knocked off a fellow District 7 member with Beaver, and then beat a very good Ole Valley team who was the runner-up in District 3 in the semifinals. And we are underway with Quaker Valley in the white and Lancaster Mennonite in the black. And Lancaster Mennonite and Ben Lefevre, our featured player, getting things going right off the bat. Great look for Lefevre, and a challenge right at the start, and a big save from the Quaker Valley keeper.
Dom Lagnese able to make the save there, stayed on his near post. That's where the shot came, and he was up to the challenge. You don't expect a shot when you're a keeper 15 seconds into the game, but that's exactly what Lagnese got, and he was able to make the save.
How about that? I mean, that caught everybody off guard. All of a sudden, the Blazers were racing up and had a great opportunity, and now they're on the attack again. That pass was looking for Lefevre, but gets knocked away by the back line of Quaker Valley. And again, Quaker Valley was here in Hershey last year, lost to Lewisburg. But thanks to Lancaster Mennonite, Lewisburg not back here. The Blazers with a 2-0 win over the District 4 champ. Let's take a look at this shot again.
Yeah, great setup, and there's only one place he could really go, and Lefevre put a good foot to it that time, got a lot of power on it, but when you have the keeper able to get his entire body behind it, that's what helps save everything.
Long throw in, trickles in, ball's loose in front, and it's kicked away by Quaker Valley. So Lancaster Mennonite knocking on the door here in the opening minute and a half. Now with it, this is number 4, Shota Totani for Lancaster Mennonite. Number 9, Zach Steffen as well. And again, Lancaster Mennonite, the Blazers in the black jerseys, Quaker Valley in the white. Cross into the center, couldn't be handled by the Blazers, and now Quaker Valley looking to go the other way, now into the midfield. This is Caleb Bender, an all-league member, saves it, sends it for Ian Rogers. Goalkeeper coming way out, and a nice job
Carter
by
Hurst.
the keeper. Yeah, Carter Hurst there, the senior goalkeeper. Only 8 goals against the entire season.
Did not hesitate one moment the second he saw Ian Rogers take a touch that was a little bit too far out in front. Knew he could get there, and MW using his body very well.
The Blazers on the attack again. Intended for Lefevre. Moving forward, that was number 14, Tyler Wagner, another first-team All-League member with 17 goals and 18 assists.
All right, these are two teams that don't give up many goals. That does not mean that we're not going to see some exciting soccer, and these two teams are very attack-minded but also get back well in numbers. So we may not see many goals. We may. I mean, it's really kind of questionable whether or not we're going to see a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game, because these teams can do either one. They've outscored their opponents 12-1 and 12-2 so far in the state tournament.
Well, Dominic Matilio whiffed on that one, but luckily it was Carter Hurst to grab it. The keeper for the Blazers will punt it away. Sent out of there by Quaker Valley's Oliver Wilson. And back in. Oh, and we have a break coming here on the near side. This is Shota Totani. Centers it for Lefevre, and again, a good opportunity for Lefevre, but right there, it was Dom Lagnice, the junior goalkeeper for the Quaker Valley Quakers. So the pressure being put on by the Blazers has been phenomenal here in the first 4 minutes.
And notice exactly where that ball was played, too. A very good decision that time from Totani to not just cross the ball in, but play the ball back a little bit to the inside diagonally, and Lefevre standing there with a great opportunity to get a look. Somehow found a way to get it through without touching any bodies. That might be the thing that allowed Lagnice to save it.
Quaker Valley trying to slow it down, but Ben Lefevre sends it away, push down, direct kick for the Blazers. And Ben Lefevre, our featured player today, has been all over the field.
Yeah, here's that last play. As you said, Totani with the break down the right side. The composure to stop the ball and not just wildly cross. Finds feet, finds a good shot opportunity, the second one of this first half for Ben Lefevre.
And that lead pass was by number 3, Brett Diller, to Totani on the near side. Sent in, good ball, bounces past everybody. It'll be a goal kick for Quaker Valley.
You know, the question I have right now is this start for Lancaster Mennonite that they've had. This was a very confident Quaker Valley team coming in. Does this shake their confidence at all? That's something to keep an eye on, because now this is a Quaker Valley team where, with the play being dominated here in the first 5 minutes by Lancaster Mennonite, how quickly do they get back into doing what they do?
Well, right now pushing forward is Ian Rogers. Good ball up ahead for Landon Grant. He's got a chance, and he makes good on the first opportunity of the game for the Quakers, right on cue, and the confident Quaker Valley team goes up 1-0.
There's your answer. And all they do is they just come right down the middle and look for their main man. And Landon Grant all season long has been their guy, and the perplexed Carter Hurst had no chance on that one.
No.
The defense broke down a little bit in the middle, and you cannot give a star player. Look at the space he creates for himself with the touch to the outside and puts it in the back corner.
Great job by Quaker Valley. When Lancaster Mennonite dominated the first 5 minutes, it only took about 15 seconds for Quaker Valley to get their offense going. One more look.
And again, the step away from Zach Steffen, just enough room, the recognition of where the open area on the field was, and the score by a goal scorer, the 37th of the season for Landon Grant.
And just like that, the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite are going to have a set piece off a corner kick, as that ball was headed out of bounds by Quaker Valley. So a lot of action here in the early going on both ends. And this will be number 14, Tyler Wagner, who will take the corner for Lancaster Mennonite. Short corner headed out of there by Quaker Valley and cleared, at least for the moment. And sent towards the midfield. Zach Steffen with it. Now a whistle, and I believe we have a substitution for Quaker Valley. And there's actually an injury on the field. That's Nolan Carver, down, number 17 for Quaker Valley.
You get clip behind the play, holding onto the right knee. Definitely in a little bit of pain back there. So they'll take a look at him. You look at this Quaker Valley team, losses on the season were to Montour in the regular season, and then really a shocker, they lost to Shadyside in the WPIAA championship game in District 7, and that really refocused this team, and they were able to go back to basics is what they talked about, and really get back to what they did well. And I think sometimes you hear people say, losses, no loss is good. In this case for Quaker Valley, that Shadyside Academy loss was a good one for them because it allowed them to remember what they do well.
Make sure to watch the PIAA championships on your own time with the PCN Select app. Subscribe to PCN Select to watch the championships on demand on your favorite device anytime, anywhere. Get your subscription at PCNTV.com. And it looks like, unfortunately for Quaker Valley, Nolan Carver not really able to put much weight on what looks like the left foot as he's being carried off by a trainer and his goalkeeper, Dom Lignice. So hopefully we will see Nolan Carver get back into this game, a junior defender with 6 goals and 7 assists. Very key player on the back line for the Quakers.
Replaced, I believe they said, by Antonio Brown, who is also a junior.
That is correct. Number 5, Antonio Brown now into the game.
They play a 5-2-3 formation, and what that essentially means is you're going to have 2 wingbacks that are on either side that are going to be very, very active going forward and looking to overlap.
Lancaster Mennonite putting on some pressure. Nice move. And it's kicked out of bounds on the far side. It'll be a throw-in for the Blazers. It was Tyler Wagner again putting the pressure on.
Yeah, excellent energy shown by Wagner there and taking advantage of maybe a little bit of uncertainty in the back for Quaker Valley after the injury. Now you have a different grouping in the back of the field, and they've got to adjust to that.
Quaker Valley clears it out of the box, but the Blazers still putting the pressure on, and that one sails way high into the netting under the scoreboard, and it will be a goal kick for Quaker Valley and goalkeeper Dom Lignice.
Tatani just a little bit too far leaning back on that one. Lots of power, just not the direction.
Moving it to the midfield, sent back in. That's Andrew Nell, number 16, for Lancaster Mennonite. That ball sent forward, headed out by the Blazers. This is number 20, Frankie Fernandez, into the game. And now Ian Rogers, who helped to set up that last goal by Landon Grant. To the midfield. Lefevre fighting for it, along with Quaker Valley's Fritz Reeder. This is Totani. Deflected right back, Zach Steffen. Back to Totani here on the near side, couldn't handle it. Out of bounds, throw in for Quaker Valley.
What Lancaster Mennonite, though, is doing very well. Despite the fact that they gave up the goal against the run of play here in the early going, they continue to do what they plan to do early. I talked in the open. One of the things you do against a possession team is you pressure and you try to disrupt. And they've done a very good job early on of disrupting and pressuring every single thing that Quaker Valley has attempted to do in the back of the field. When they've gotten to the front of the field, that's when they've been dangerous.
Here's Lefevre for the Blazers. Good footwork. Sends it far side over to Wagner. Wagner trying to get around the defender. Lefevre now with it. To the far side. Tripped up. No call. Quaker Valley has it. Good defense at that time by the Quakers. I feel like Lefevre was either trying to draw a call or potentially get that corner kick there on the end line.
You feel a little bit of contact, and at that point, if you have no other option, you got double teamed on the play, didn't have an angle, didn't really have much that he could do with that ball, sure. At that point, you try to embellish maybe a little bit. The official thought that there wasn't enough there.
Matthew Lynch, number 10, trying to give and go with Lefevre. It didn't work.
Talk about a guy who's been hot lately for Lancaster Mennonite. Matthew Lynch has been lighting it up.
Right, a first-team All-League member, 39 goals this year.
He's been scoring them in bunches lately.
We'll see if the Blazers can get him going a little bit. Good lead pass to Otani. Puts it in off the deflected hand of Dom Lignice, and we're knotted up at 1.
Tremendous run off the ball from Totani, recognizing that there was a little bit of a delay out there on the outside where Quaker Valley did not recognize the space. Beautiful ball played in, and Totani does what you need to do. You get a piece of the ball, and that flick was enough to equalize at 1.
A couple of really nice goals. Let's take another look at this one. Good ball in the center. Beautiful touch. And Laganeese got a piece of it, but it wasn't enough.
And Brett Diller with the assist. What a beautiful look forward by Diller to set up Totani for the equalizing goal here in the 10th minute.
And by the way, Diller had a couple of really nice lead passes on some other opportunities for Lefevre. He couldn't capitalize, but Diller has really done a nice job, as Lefevre wanted the corner kick, but instead it will be a goal kick for Quaker Valley. So already through 10 minutes of play, a lot of scoring opportunities. Quaker Valley really just with one, and they made good on that opportunity. Lancaster Mennonite has controlled the attack most of this one, and finally they capitalize on the Shota Totani goal, his 5th of the season.
And again, the assist goes, and deservedly so, Brett Diller with a beautiful ball. The creativity that requires from a player to recognize the opportunity that was available to him, and just seeing, hey, here comes Totani. Let me hit him with the ball. Maybe he'll get there in time. It was enough to score the goal.
Off the handball, Quaker Valley skied high, and an opening for a moment for Ian Rogers, but he sails it towards the stage.
A year ago, Ian Rogers was a dangerous player for Quaker Valley. Their problem a year ago, they just couldn't finish against Lewisburg. They had a lot of possession and really played a tremendous game. And for me, I felt that was maybe the best game of the entire weekend a year ago. Just two teams just continue to go at each other. And we're already seeing what could be the sequel to that, even though it's Lancaster Mennonite instead of Lewisburg. But Quaker Valley plays entertaining soccer for the fans to watch.
Well, you weren't sure if this was going to be a high-scoring game or not. If it's any indication of the first 10 minutes, I think we're in for a marathon.
We could very well, but, I mean, how these two teams play defense, too. We may not see another goal for the rest of regulation. It really depends on opportunities, but these two teams are high energy.
Well, Quaker Valley with the takeaway. Going down the far side is number 14, Dom Reeder. And now the Quakers looking to attack, but a good job by Wagner as well as Brett Diller to send it away out to the midfield. This is number 15, Sebastian Correa. Now looking on the near side, good job by Zach Steffen. And here comes Matthew Lynch. Lynch tried the lead pass a little bit too far, and Laganeese will handle.
Frustrated with himself because he saw with three backs, the three center backs that they use in the five-man back, there was a space for him to try to slot that ball in and overhit it.
Totani centers it. Lefevre, the lead pass to the far side. Wagner didn't get any mustard on that one and rolled into the arms of Laganeese.
But Lancaster Mennonite seen a lot of chances here.
Yes.
Chance after chance. And we've seen after the first game the action where the wind is going towards. Again, we don't know how much that's influencing things right now, but a lot of the play so far in a game plus 15 minutes or so has been in that end to our right, where you're seeing on your screen back there on TV. You know, that side of the field is where most of the offensive action has been so far today.
Yeah, just judging by the flags, the wind is still moving from left to right, like you were saying. I feel like it's died down a little bit here in this second game of this quadruple header. Lynch trying to get past the defender, not going to happen. Good job by Quaker Valley. Now the Quakers looking to push. Headed back out by 15, Max Brubaker. And now sent away. And we have a whistle. It's going to be a direct kick for the Quakers. Might have been a handball. I didn't see the call by the official.
It's going to be indirect here.
Okay, indirect. Okay.
They caught Dominic Mantilio with trying to chest the ball down. Went off of his arm, so they're going to give a free kick 35 yards out from goal. And probably from Mantilio, he was able to get in front of that one. Landon Grant was making a good run behind that play, would have been open if that ball gets past Mantilio.
Sent in by Grant. Good look. A little bit wide, and good job by Carter Hurst to let that one trickle over the end line. And I think that was well defended by the Blazers on that one.
Fritz Reeder had actual position. He just missed the ball. Love to see the replay on this. Here it is. And he got in there. There was enough pressure on him from the backside defensively that he wasn't able to get a clean touch to it, but he was the first man to the ball.
Here comes Lynch racing to it, keeps it in, but it goes right to Lagnice. There you see Dom Lagnice, the junior keeper. 0.63 goals against per game and 47 saves, and he's been pretty busy so far in the first 15-plus minutes.
Busier than I think he usually is.
Yes, that is for sure. Quaker Valley as a team has only given up 17 goals all year, and they've scored 130. So take a look at that discrepancy.
They've got a lot of guys who are capable, though, of doing things on the offensive end. Landon Grant's just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
I mean, they've got other guys who are capable of scoring in bunches. Just an example of that, Frankie Fernandez, their sophomore, who's also up front as one of the 3 strikers in their formation. He had 5 goals in their first-round game in states against St. Mary's.
And 17 for the year. Ian Rogers, 23 goals. Thomas David, 10 goals.
They score,
yes,
and they score a lot, and
yes.
that's because they have so many different options and a lot of speed.
Let's see what the call is here.
Corner.
It will be a corner for Quaker Valley, and it will be Landon Grant who takes it. So Carter Hurst, the goalkeeper you see right there for Lancaster Mennonite.
Over the years, Lancaster Mennonite has been so solid traditionally on set pieces. They just seem to do so many things technically well on set piece plays.
Grant sending it in. Short kick. Comes right back to Grant. Sends it in. Bends it. Goal. Oh, no. I thought it was going in. It went wide. Just a little wide. That was a beautiful ball and headed just wide by Caleb Bender. He wants that one back.
He does want it back, but the guy who bends that ball in perfectly. It's the reason that Coach Andrew Marshall has him taking all the set pieces is Landon Grant. What a beautiful ball in. And again, you've got somebody breaking on the ball, and it was Carter Hurst, the keeper, who gambled trying to go back post. That's the most dangerous ball, I think, when the cross comes in. When it's coming in towards that back post, and it's curling in a place where if the keeper lets it go, it would go in, but you have runners from the backside making rushes. So dangerous, any sort of a ball in that area, and we see why with a great run from Bender.
And that one's sent in by Brett Diller, easily handled by Dom Lagnice. One more look.
Oh.
Beautiful play, just a little wide.
It's exactly how you draw up, except for the ball didn't go in the back of the net.
Both teams have had some great opportunities. Turnover, lead pass, and that one is sent way wide by Frankie Fernandez.
That was an attempt more of a half-hearted cross more than anything else.
Right.
Knew he wasn't going to be able to get a shot off with any sort of power from where he was. So you see Fernandez just trying to twist and see how much he could. He knew he had Landon Grant rushing on that opposite side. And all of a sudden, Quaker Valley over the last few minutes has now wrested control of this game and the possession away from Lancaster Mennonite.
And as you say that, Matthew Lynch trying to push it forward, over down to Totani, who has the lone goal for the Blazers. Taken away, nicely done by Ian Rogers. Although loses control of it out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in for Lancaster Mennonite. Lynch. And he led it for Lefevre, who was cutting. But a good job by Quaker Valley to get it out. Now Totani back to Lynch. Lynch into the center. Diller, who had the assist on the goal, went to go far side. Good defense by the back line of Quaker Valley. And now it's cleared to the midfield. Wagner back on the attack for the Blazers. Around a defender with some space. The cross, and right there was Lagnice to cover it up.
He just couldn't quite get enough on it to send it past the keeper. He was trying to get that past the goalkeeper where he had an on-rushing player coming from the backside. So we see this. Look at this. At the very last minute, and there's Totani again, who is a guy who was on the back door looking to do something with that one. Unfortunately for Lancaster Mennonite, Wagner just couldn't get enough of the left foot to it.
Out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in for Quaker Valley as we pass the midway point. Here in the first half, a lot of action on both sides. It's been very exciting. 2 goals, one by each team, and a lot of opportunities, and a couple that are just wide as well.
Great 20 minutes to open this thing up, and I'm loving the fact we have 60 to go. At least 60 to go.
At least. We're still in the first half here alongside Brian Kaiser. I'm Ari Bluestein. You're watching the PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship live from Hershey Park Stadium. Matthew Lynch. Good defense, good tackle, goes over to the goalkeeper. Quaker Valley now will look to clear to the midfield. Sending it forward. That was Fritz Reeder. Brett Diller had it for a moment. Now into the back. And a little bit too high from Matilio. Intending that for Zach Steffen, throw-in for the Quakers.
Both these teams have experienced state championship glory in the past. Lancaster Mennonite back in 2011 had a golden goal to win a state championship that year, and also reached the final again 2012 and 2014. Just did not hoist the trophy on either one of those occasions, trying to even up their championship record if they can win today at 2-2. For Quaker Valley, this is one of the storied programs in the state. 85, 91, 93, 95, 96, and also his share of the title in 2000.
Here's Lynch centering it to Lefevre. Oh, and it hits the crossbar. What a shot by Lefevre, just a bit too high.
Able to take that ball down to the end line, keep it in play. Watch the brilliance here from Lynch. Great footwork. Gets it to the inside, knows what he wants to do with it. Lefevre uses the body well, shields off his man, and doinks it off the bar. Unfortunate for the Blazers not to be up 2-1.
Lefevre has had 3 real good looks on goal and hasn't been able to put it home. That one probably the closest. Now battling is Frankie Fernandez for Quaker Valley and number 15, Max Brubaker for Lancaster Mennonite. It'll be a throw-in for the Quakers.
Yeah, mistake there from Zach Steffen, not recognizing that Landon Grant was right there. You cannot hesitate on the ball no matter where you are on the field in this game.
Lynch heads it over now to Wagner. Here come the Blazers. Wagner into the middle. Good slide tackle by the Quaker Valley Quakers. And I believe that was Caleb Bender who was back there, the senior defender on that play. Here on the near side, Antonio Brown. Back to Oliver Wilson, another senior defender.
The other thing you'll notice about these two teams, we have not seen many substitutions yet. We're going to, but with the high pace of play that we've seen so far, these two teams are supremely fit to be able to play at this very high level, the high work rate that both these teams have been putting in early in this contest.
Quakers taking their time, just hanging around the midfield, and a push-off called against Dominic Matilio, and a Quaker on the ground. I believe that's Fernandez.
It is. Pulling at the left shin. Looks like he'll be fine.
So it'll be a direct here for the Quakers.
Landon Grant over the restart for the Quakers.
They got another look at that, little push down.
As soon as that arm extends.
So Landon Grant back here getting set to take this one.
The sun's an issue here too. All right, you've got the sun coming from that direction. You have the ball coming from that direction. This is a very dangerous play.
Grant bends it in, headed out by Lynch. That was left for Totani, but Landon Grant kicks it out of the bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Blazers. And here's some substitutions for Quaker Valley. Number 11, Thomas David, and number 8, Will Andrews in. And Lancaster Mennonite with a couple of substitutions as well, including number 11, Mesa Dula, into the contest for the first time.
That last set-piece opportunity for Quaker Valley, the ball was not a bad one from Landon Grant, but nobody from Quaker Valley attacked the ball, and that allowed it clear from Lancaster Mennonite.
Lynch taken away from him, but they get a little push-off call on Oliver Wilson of Quaker Valley, so it'll be a kick here and a potential set play for the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite.
Yeah, he's not happy about that one. There was not a lot of contact there, Matthew Grant, but there's enough. And just that redirect where he reaches the arm out and knocks Lynch off stride is enough to get that call 35 yards out from goal.
It looks like Dominic Matilio will take this kick. Sends it in a little bit low, headed out by Quaker Valley. Matilio able to keep it at least on the Blazer side of the midfield. Wagner trying to chase it down to the far corner. He gets to it. And we're going to have a corner kick.
That's a throw.
Oh, check that. I thought he awarded a corner kick there, but it will be a throw-in.
But it will stay with Lancaster Mennonite.
Right.
A dangerous situation, and this is where Lynch, with his size, can really be a factor.
Long throw. Headed up in the air by the Quakers, and now we'll have a corner kick.
And that really, more than anything else, was what Lancaster Mennonite looked like they were attempting to do with that corner.
Right.
Just affect that play enough. They weren't able to get enough aerial opportunity on that, but now they will.
It'll be Tyler Wagner. Sends it in. Low, near post. Lynch sends it straight up in the air. He had an opportunity, but he sent it over the crossbar and out of bounds, and it will be a goal kick. We'll take one more look.
Yeah, frustrated with that one because that ball just drops right to his left foot, and he doesn't have time to square the hips. He just sort of flailed at it. Probably had a little bit more time than what he realized to try to settle that ball and get a clean strike.
Well, we'll see if Lynch gets another opportunity. Lefevre pushing forward. Puts it towards the goal, and off the deflection, Lagnice has to make a save. How about that?
Antonio Brown deflected a piece of that ball, and it took a really bad redirect for Quaker Valley, and Lagnice was aware enough on this one to make the stop, catch the tail end of that one, but Lagnice had to really be put on the spot.
Here's another corner kick. Wagner, this one's high, bends it in, headed up in the air. It will be another corner here on the near side.
It's the right call. Quaker Valley was the ones who got the head to it on that near side of the field. They'll just switch locations now.
And Lagnice directing traffic in goal for Quaker Valley.
Looking for somebody to really attack the ball offensively. We haven't really seen that on any of these set pieces, save the one.
Wagner again. Lynch had a crack at it. Sent out of the box by Quaker Valley. Back in, high, just over the crossbar.
Thought you were going to karate kick somebody there for a second.
Oh, this has been very exciting. A lot of really good scoring opportunities, and Lancaster Mennonite knocking on the door again.
Here it is, a deflection. The ball comes out. It ricochets, not a clean clear. And then the ball comes all the way out, and the defender's dream. Can we flip it over? Nope, not quite.
11 minutes to go here in half number one. It's been some exciting soccer here between the Quaker Valley Quakers out of the WPIAA in District 7 and Lancaster Mennonite out of District 3 here for the title.
Yeah, some tremendous action both ways, and both teams have had their chances. We've seen each team score a goal. This has been everything that we expected coming into this game, and both these teams looking for someone to show the dominance but that's not happening anytime soon. These two teams are very, very evenly matched.
It'll be a direct kick for Landon Grant. I don't think the Lancaster Mennonite crowd liked that last call. Through the legs, nice move by Grant, but even better defense there by Tyler Wagner. Now Lefevre up ahead to Lynch. Lynch with 4 white jerseys back there, but Lynch trying to navigate through, turning on the Jets, going in, caught up by a defender. He might have an opportunity, but instead, good job by Quaker Valley to clear that fast break.
Numbers game eventually caught up to him. He took one touch that left the ball behind him just enough to slow that run down, and that allowed the defense to recover.
And now Quaker Valley pushing forward. This is Antonio Brown back to Wilson, who sends it sky high. 50-50 ball headed back by Lancaster Mennonite. Player down on the field after may have headbutted with Ben Lefevre. That is number 16, Fritz Reeder, who is slow to get up, and now he's back to join the action. Good job by number 11, Mesa Dula, who's one of the reserves who came into this game. Lefevre puts on the brakes. Near side. This is Joe Lapp, who came into the game as well. Lynch keeps it in, toes that in line. Fancy footwork, centers, kicked away by Quaker Valley. But still, the Blazers putting on the pressure. Steffen sends it in, and easily handled by Dom Laganese. Good floater to the far post coming from the near side.
You'll notice, though, that any time the attack comes on, and we're seeing some brilliant stuff from Lynch with his footwork, trying to dribble down low, but any time that the Blazers get an opportunity, Quaker Valley has not been able to clear the ball far out, and that's allowing the Blazers to pressure up and get another attack going right away.
I believe it'll be a throw-in for the Blazers. Meanwhile, a couple of substitutions. Number 5, Chet Huber back into the game, as well as number 4, Shota Totani. Matthew Lynch and Brett Diller getting a breather for the Blazers, and head coach Fred Winey. By the way, Fred Winey, a terrific overall record as the Lancaster Mennonite head coach, 217, 46, and 9. Those are some serious winning coaching numbers right there.
He's won Coach of the Year twice, back-to-back years, 2014 and 2015 at the AA level.
And Andrew Marshall on the Quaker Valley side was here last year with his squad, looking to take home the gold this year. But we are knotted up at 1. We had a goal at about the 34.5-minute mark by Landon Grant, the star for Quaker Valley, answered back 4 minutes later by Shota Totani for Lancaster Mennonite, and that's where we stand, tied up at 1. As we come down to the 7-minute mark here in the first half.
Andrew Marshall, former professional soccer player that's parlayed his knowledge and understanding of the game into being a great head coach.
Here comes Wagner racing forward. And he can't quite catch up to the ball being chased by the Quaker Valley defense.
Yeah, Marshall's a guy who played for the Harrisburg City Islanders at once, who just rebranded as now Penn FC, and then also went out and played for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and was a fan favorite out there for many years. So stayed out there, had the opportunity to coach Quaker Valley, and has really done great things with this program and bringing it back to prominence again.
Quaker Valley again, the District 7 champs last year. The runners-up this year after losing to Shadyside in the district championship. Lost in the state championship here at Hershey Park Stadium last year to Lewisburg, who this year was defeated by Lancaster Mennonite in the semis.
And what a great run for Lewisburg, back-to-back years. And even their star player, Joey Bangdia, graduating and still to make the run that they did, getting all the way back to the semis again, just says a lot about where that program is.
That ball sent sky high toward the box. Fight for the 50-50 ball. Landon Grant, good move. He's got an opening. Oh, and a great job defensively by number 11, Mesa Dula, who has really come on as a reserve and played some valuable minutes over the last 10-plus minutes or so.
Yeah, the sophomore just stepped in, and Grant made the first good move around him, but the second one, he wasn't biting.
Good lead pass there by Lefevre, intending that for Joe Lapp, the senior reserve forward. But good job by Quaker Valley to be right on top of it. Lefevre with the takeaway. He leaves it for Wagner. Sent out of bounds by the Quakers. It'll be a throw-in for Lancaster Mennonite.
That step in from Lefevre, though, that's a guy who understands the game, understands what the opponent's tendencies are, and he steps right in, gets an interception, immediately creates an opportunity on the offensive end.
After a brief break, there's Brett Diller back into the game. He'll take this throw. Matthew Lynch also back in. Oh, and Diller, the ball slipped right out, and Lefevre has to handle it. In the corner, gets by his defender. The cross, Totani couldn't get a full foot on that one, and now Quaker Valley comes away with it. Quakers on the run. Lead pass a little too far.
You know, that pass from Lefevre was so good, I think Totani was shocked that it got to him in the spot because he completely stubbed his toe on the opportunity. The ball was put on a silver platter, and Totani, I think, was just shocked it got to him the way it did.
Good lead for Lynch. Let's take a look one more time. And yeah, Totani could not quite get a full foot on that one, as we said, of a beautiful pass by Lefevre. Out of bounds, far side, throw in for Quaker Valley as we approach the 4-minute mark.
You see why Lefevre's All-State. I mean, he just does some special things on the ball. Not much room down there on the end line. Still attacks that area, able to get around the defenders and create an opportunity for his team.
Frankie Fernandez back in, as is Dom Reeder for the Quaker Valley Quakers. They are in the white jerseys, Lancaster Mennonite in the black jerseys with the yellow lettering and numbering. Sent all the way back to the back line, headed back out by Oliver Wilson. Now Lefevre for Diller. Back to Lefevre, a little give and go. Leaves it for Lynch. Lynch tried to send it on goal, but it was knocked down by a defender in front. Steffen reverses fields now. Far side to Wagner. Wagner looking for Lynch, who headed it forward, but right on top of it was Dom Lagnice. But I like that idea right there. Matthew Lynch really working some magic inside the box.
A beautiful turn by Lynch. He's playing with so much confidence right now, and they're looking to set him up in great positions, using his body well. The flick of the head, trying to get that by. Lagnice actually read that play extremely well. Otherwise, Grant may have had an opportunity.
And Diller going in, and it's deflected out by Oliver Wilson, and we'll have a corner kick for the Blazers with under 3 to play, and another test for Dom Lagnice in goal.
He's been busy. Number 1 in yellow.
This will be Wagner taking it. Totani right there, maybe showing a short corner, but instead goes back top of the box. Wagner does go with the short corner. Lefevre with the cross, and it hits the side of the post again. And looks like Lefevre is playing pepper now with the post and crossbar. He's got to hit the back of the net now.
There just wasn't enough. He did hit the back of the net, just on the wrong side of it. He just didn't have enough room there. And I think you see that maybe there's a little bit more room than I thought.
Yeah,
and
there was.
With his ability on the ball, even the thought that you could sneak that ball in is pretty special.
Totani tries to center for Lynch. Good defense by the Quakers. But the Blazers still have it.
The ball not being cleared far enough away. It's allowing more opportunities for Lancaster Mennonite.
Lancaster Mennonite has had a majority of the scoring opportunities here today. Between the legs to Lefevre. Lefevre battling with a defender, gets taken to the ground. Whistles are silent.
Good no call. That's a 50-50 challenge.
Again, the cross. Steffen looking for Lynch a little too high, scooped up by Lagnice in goal.
Now, that previous play, it was Fritz Reeder who challenged Lefevre very well. The two of them both have the right to the ball, and it was Lefevre who didn't stay on his feet, but it was Quaker Valley who was able to eventually clear it.
Final minute of half number 1. It's been a fun one. 2 goals, 1 apiece for each team. Quaker Valley with the takeaway, and now it's Landon Grant with it, sending it far side to Frankie Fernandez. Fernandez crossing to Grant. Good defense right there by Max Brubaker. Lefevre sends it far side to Wagner. Perhaps one more final opportunity for the Blazers. Or maybe the Quakers as they take it right away. Lead pass looking for Landon Grant all the way down. Sent away by Brubaker again. Lefevre looking for Wagner, sent high and out by Oliver Wilson. We'll have a throw in, 10 seconds to go. Rushing over there is Andrew Nell, and we have an injured player down. Lefevre is down, and that is how the first half will end. Well, it was a fun back and forth first half. A lot of scoring opportunities. Both teams get one past the keeper. We are tied at 1 here at halftime of the PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship live from Hershey Park Stadium. We'll be back with our halftime report right after this here on PCN.
Packed with 9 essential nutrients, low-fat chocolate milk can be an important part of your recovery routine. Refuel with chocolate milk after your next workout.
Pennsylvania's top high school wrestlers take to the mat on PCN's Match of the Week. Follow the weekly matches and tournaments leading up to the PIAA Team and Individual Wrestling Championships exclusively on PCN and the PCN Select app. Join us this January. Go to PCNTV.com for the schedule and more details on PCN Sports. PCN Sports has always been your ticket for exclusive access to high school and collegiate games across the state. That ticket just got better. Watch whenever and wherever you go. You never have to miss the big game with the PCN Select app. PCN Sports and the PCN Select app. For on-the-go sports fans, it is the best seat you can get.
Back at Hershey Park Stadium, it's 1-1 here in the PIAA Boys 2A Soccer Championship between the Lancaster Mennonite Blazers and the Quaker Valley Quakers. Alongside Brian Kaiser, Amari Bluestein, and first game, a lot of defense. First half of this game, a whole lot of offense, 2 goals, and a lot more scoring opportunities.
Man, was that a fun first half of soccer. A lot of creativity from both teams, a lot of chances to score, and both teams being able to get on the scoreboard, tie the game up at 1-1 going into halftime. Let's start just like they did, quickly. 15 seconds in, a quick scoring opportunity for Lancaster Mennonite. They would keep the pressure on. And here comes Totani, who was a very pivotal force in the first half to Lefevre. That one was saved, and all of a sudden it seemed like it was all Mennonite with chances, and then Landon Grant gets an opportunity. And against the run of play there in the very beginning of the game in the 6th minute, is able to score the opening goal of the contest. Quaker Valley all fired up, and it would be equalized. Diller to Totani gets just enough of a touch to get it past the keeper Lagnice, and we're knotted at 1. There were no shortage of chances, though, after that in the first half. Grant with a dangerous ball there. You had just plays on either side where you had crosses. Matthew Lynch was a very dangerous player in the first half, and we saw this one go off the bar. Another great opportunity. It's been a great half of offensive soccer, and it's a 1-1 game. And I look for the second half to be just the same as it was in the first half, with 2 teams very evenly matched and very deserving of being here playing at their top level.
Well, you saw Lancaster Mennonite had a majority of those highlights. You saw the one off the crossbar from Lefevre, and the Blazers have really put the pressure on the goalkeeper, Lagnice. What do you see the Quakers doing to maybe adjust that? Maybe going to the other side of the field will help, but what do you think that Andrew Marshall and the Quakers will do in the second half?
I was going to mention that first, because we're going to find out, I think for sure, whether or not the win situation really has mattered in this game, because when they switch sides, does Quaker Valley have more of the possession? I think the main thing for Coach Andrew Marshall and his Quakers is they just do what they do and continue to build. I think Landon Grant has gotten opportunities. He's worked himself into good spots. He's come back for the ball when necessary. He's been creative with it. And when they set up set pieces, they're a dangerous team. I think they continue doing the status quo, and I think Lancaster Mennonite has to continue to pressure the ball all over the field. That high intensity that they've brought from the beginning is going to be key if they're going to walk away with the state championship.
Well, it was a very fun first half. A lot of offense, a lot of scoring opportunities. Don't miss half number 2. Coming up next here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, we'll have more from the PIAA Boys 2A Soccer Championship live from Hershey Park Stadium next.
I would recommend becoming an official because you can feel like you're a part of a sport that you love.
We officiate for the athletes and for the sport that we love, and so as long as you keep them first, then it's going to be a great experience.
So the money I've made from officiating for the past few years, I put all that money into savings to pay to finish my college education. In 6 months, when I complete that, I will not be in any debt.
Officiating the state championship and getting that call to officiate the state championship was an emotional thing for me, just because of what I've been through, you know, the ups and downs, and getting that call really meant a lot to me. Sometimes I see student athletes that I officiated years and years ago, and they say, "Man, you did a great job. Thanks for everything you've done."
Brought to you by Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer, which brings you the U.S. Youth Soccer National Championship Series, President's Cup, and Turkey Hill Challenge Cup in the spring of 2018. For more information, go to epysa.org.
Keep the game going with the PCN Select app. Subscribe now to watch this championship on demand, or purchase digital downloads, Blu-rays, and DVDs of PCN Sports Championships. Go to PCNTV.com to purchase today.
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January on PCN. Tired of all the leaning and unbalanced views? Tired of channels that have their own angle? At PCN, we bring it to you straight. We don't edit what was said to fit a point of view. We bring you the entire event the way it happened. No editing, no slant, no angle. When you want to know the whole story, you need to watch PCN, the complete view without the lean. PCN, on cable or online. All things straightforward for Pennsylvania. Looking to stay current with state politics anytime, anywhere? Working late and can't make it to the big game? Don't miss a minute of the action with PCN Select. Public affairs coverage, live sports, Gettysburg Battle Walks, the Pennsylvania Farm Show, and much, much more. You get unlimited access to everything Pennsylvania. Subscribe to PCN Select for a day or for the whole year and watch anytime, anywhere. Visit PCNTV.com to subscribe today.
Welcome back to Hershey Park Stadium, and if you want more high school sports action, join us for the 2017 PIAA Football Championships live right here from Hershey, PA, December 7th, 8th, and 9th. On PCN and the PCN Select app. Visit PCNTV.com for more details. And I'm sure those football championships will be very exciting, but we've got a good one with the PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship between the Lancaster Mennonite Blazers out of District 3 and the Quaker Valley Quakers out of District 7, tied at 1. And if you saw those highlights at halftime, man, there was a lot that we had going on for scoring opportunities in the first half.
Yeah, there's been times in the past where it's hard to find enough highlights to really feel. You had to take out a whole bunch of stuff that happened. I mean, it was that good of action in the first half, and I expect nothing less from both these teams in the second half of play. The intensity that both of these teams play with, and I think that Lancaster Mennonite really took the game to Quaker Valley. Let's see if Quaker Valley can raise their level just a little bit more, being the team that was here a year ago. And if they can do that, that might give them just enough of an edge that they're going to need in the second half.
Lancaster Mennonite in the black jerseys. You see Ben Lefevre and Matthew Lynch, very active. They didn't put anything in the back of the net, but they were very active in that first half. And Quaker Valley in the home white. You see Frankie Fernandez right there lined up with Matthew Lynch. Should be a good second half, and we'll see if Lancaster Mennonite can start off just like they did in the first half, 15 seconds in, with a really good shot attempt on goal. And now, of course, teams reversing field with the Blazers moving right to left and the Quakers moving left to right. And we've talked about it all day. The wind may be a factor. The wind moving from left to right, and whoever has been moving left to right has had the advantage so far.
Going to have a little bit of a push there over on the side against Ian Rogers. Or check that, against Ben Lefevre. Good to see that he's okay. He was a little shaken up at the end of the first half. He comes right back out, and he's back into the action. Yeah, I think the wind, I think we're going to know for sure after this game whether or not the wind is affecting these games as much as it may be affecting them, and just by where the ball is going to be. I thought that the team that was more aggressive in each half that we've seen so far has been the team who's dominated the possession, but all of them have been going the same direction.
Right.
So we may find that out here in this second half of our second game here on day one of the soccer championships.
Quaker Valley moving forward. The cross. And kept in action. Oh, and it's going to be a corner kick. Didn't quite keep it in. Did Max Brubaker. So our first set piece of half number 2 will be for Quaker Valley. So a big test here to start things off for Carter Hurst, the senior goalkeeper for Lancaster Mennonite. Landon Grant on the corner, bends it in. Opposite side now to Rogers. And we're going to have another corner, this time from the near side, deflected out by Lynch.
They're looking for Caleb Bender like they did in the first half when Bender had a header go just wide on a head opportunity on a cross by Grant. Looked for him again there, wasn't able to get much to that one, and then Rogers is able to preserve another corner.
It'll be Grant again as you get a shot of Carter Hurst in goal. Deflected out, ball is still loose in front. It's going to be another corner. It was knocked out of the air by Hurst, but that soccer ball was hanging there very close to the goal.
If you're going to come out for it, you got to punch it away, and he couldn't get it far enough away. There was too much traffic, and Frankie Fernandez actually had the ball go down to his foot, but he couldn't pull the trigger.
Here's another one from Landon Grant. And it is out of bounds, and it will be a goal kick. So Lancaster Mennonite survives 3 corners in a row from Landon Grant and Quaker Valley.
Nobody crashing back post. Recapping our scoring in the first half. So you see the head coach at Quaker Valley. It's a good look of Andrew Marshall. It was Landon Grant, minute 6. And in minute number 10 for Lancaster Mennonite, Shota Totani off an assist from Brett Diller.
This is Tyler Wagner. Back to Diller. Lefevre. Couldn't quite get a good piece of that one. Now moving forward is Dom Reeder. Landon Grant. Moving through the field. Good job by Steffen on the far side for the Blazers, but he kicked it out of bounds. Quick throw for the Quakers. Sebastian Correa, number 15, to Fritz Reeder. Tries the lead pass. Good defense by Matilio. Far side. Ian Rogers trying to battle for it. And it'll be another corner for the Quakers.
You keep giving these opportunities, you really put yourself in some peril. And Lancaster Mennonite does such a great job of defending, but you just can't give time and time and time again.
Landon Grant going with the short corner. Gets it back. Around the defender. Not around 2 defenders. It'll be a throw-in, I believe, for Quaker Valley. You get a shot of Landon Grant, who went to the ground. Good defense by Steffen and good sportsmanship. Give him a little nod on the shoulder, saying, hey, no harm, no foul there.
I like the corner, though. You play it short and allow the ball to go right back to Grant in a an angle that might even be a little bit more dangerous to try to get across in.
And that ball sent way wide of the post, so it'll be a goal kick for the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite.
Dom Reeder with that shot attempt. We can get a look there at Carter Hurst, who in the first half was not busy, but in the second half already, we've seen the action pick up a little bit more on his end of things.
In the midfield, battle for 50-50 balls. Ian Rogers trying to make a move around a defender. Now back to Dom Reeder. Reeder, the cross toward the box, cleared out nicely by Brubaker. And now a turnover to Lefevre. Look out, Lefevre trying to leave it for Lynch, and kicked out of there by Tommy Guild, the sophomore defender into the game for Quaker Valley.
Needed to go wide with that one, try to play a little bit too direct, and Lynch had two defenders making sure that that wasn't going to be successful.
Totani back to Chet Huber. Now all the way back to the back line, sent in by Matilio. And Reeder to Fernandez. And a chase for it. And Landon Grant was right on the case, but the Blazers were able to clear. But it does go out of bounds, unable to be saved by Andrew Nell. So it'll be a throw in here on the near side for the Quakers. Guild lost it. Wagner to Lefevre. Lefevre was going to look for Lynch, but was tackled nicely from behind by Fritz Reeder.
Fritz Reeder never gave up on the play there at all. Well done backtracking to prevent Lefevre from turning forward.
So through the first 6+ minutes, a lot of play at the midfield. You know, we saw a lot of play in the each team's offensive and defensive zones, but the midfield has been a big factor here so far in the second half. Now Lynch has it. Nice footwork. Gets some space. Knocked away. Good defense by Quaker Valley. Number 12, Caleb Bender, in on that.
That's a great move from Lynch. Unfortunately for him, he was basically 1v5 in the back. And by the time the trailer had come in, he wasn't able to get a crossover.
Brett Diller sends it out. Throw in for Quaker Valley.
Interesting that looks like Lancaster Mennonite is basically allowing Lynch up front alone at this point to try to help bolster the midfield presence. And they're trying to send the balls up to Lynch, and that's actually not what we saw as much in the first half. They were able to add more players to the attack. They've been a little bit slower going this direction.
Throw in goes to Landon Grant. Deflects it off of Nell. And we're going to have yet another corner. And by my count, I believe this is the 5th corner kick of the second half for Quaker Valley.
In less than 8 minutes. Now, 3 of them were consecutive, but still,
right.
it's a lot of chances on set pieces.
Grant bends it in. And coming out to get it nicely done by Carter Hurst, who, like you said, hasn't been tested all that much, but right there making a good play on that ball.
Making good decision.
Right.
The last corner that came from this side, he came out, he punched it, but there was traffic, so he didn't get it out very far. This time, made no mistake about it. You're going to see him, good view from our camera crew as they just zone right in on Carter Hurst. And you see him, the focus and the fact that he had a clean alley to get to the ball.
Landon Grant gets it back, trying to lead for Fernandez. Hurst coming way out. He's out of goal, and it's off the crossbar.
Now, great chances.
Wow. Unbelievable. So Hurst comes out, makes the commitment for the stop, open goal, and it hit the crossbar.
That didn't even look like it hit the underside of the crossbar.
I know. That was even closer than the one Lefevre had in the first half.
Little give and go back and forth between Fernandez and Grant. Grant got another chance to it, flicks it up. And the iron is unkind for the second time in this game against our 2 featured players. Lefevre in the first half for Lancaster Mennonite, and Grant is denied by the crossbar here in half number 2.
Grant, another good cross. Rogers. Good footwork. Good defense right there by Chet Huber. of Lancaster Mennonite.
And I think I'm willing at this point to say that the wind is a factor.
High in the air, and Carter Hurst jumps for it, and I think you would be right on that.
We're seeing a completely different type of half played by Quaker Valley now that they're with the wind.
Lynch to Lefevre.
If you've ever been on this field here at Hershey Park Stadium, it's an odd wind. You can't tell necessarily by the flags. You get an idea, but the wind sort of with how large the stands are themselves, it blocks some of it, and it really plays and wreaks havoc with the actual direction and strength of the wind sometimes.
Well, Lancaster Mennonite, who was playing with the wind, they were certainly on the attack a lot more in that first half, and roles are reversed as the fields get reversed.
Here's Grant's opportunity.
Oh, man. So close. Inches.
And there's your wind. And again, that's at the top of the stadium where that wind is coming from. So, I mean, it is a brisk wind right now, and it is affected a little bit differently because of how the setup for the stadium is and how large these stands are that block portions of it, but not all of it.
The Blazers haven't really had a great opportunity to score as of yet, going from right to left in this half. Now Lefevre trying to make it happen. Going forward, trying to leave it for Wagner, but he was tackled and it ended up being intercepted. And now Quaker Valley tried to push, but a good header by Brubaker to get it back toward the midfield. Now sending across the field, looking for Frankie Fernandez. Fernandez, the lead. Good defense. Oh, a great play and a goal by Landon Grant. That is all Landon Grant, and it is 2-1 Quaker Valley.
The recognition of an opportunity to poach a goal, and Landon Grant gets the job done. This replay is going to be just showing and highlighting what has been a fantastic season for Landon Grant. He recognizes the situation, he attacks, and then the touch was sublime. Touch a little bit too strong, and Grant makes him pay. Unfortunately for Dominic Matilio, who's played a very strong game so far, it was just a little bit too far in front of him with some pressure on him, and that's why that ball was not cleanly handled by Matilio, and Grant made no mistake. No hesitation, immediately attacks, and Quaker Valley has the lead.
And now it'll be up to Lancaster Mennonite, who got back and evened it up fairly quickly in the first half after Landon Grant's first goal. Lefevre trying for the quick answer, but good defense again by Tommy Guild. And the Blazers, yes, they've been able to attack most of this game, haven't really done so much so in the second half, and again, moving in the opposite direction that they did in the first half.
Into the wind now, they're going to have to figure things out, and it's a different game that you have to play. You have to play with the wind, you have to play a little bit more low ball a lot of times, and we've seen them trying to adjust to that here in the second half by keeping the ball on the ground a little bit more.
Shota Totani leaves it for Matthew Lynch. Good defense by number 12, Caleb Bender, the all-league defender who just missed the goal in the first half, but he's really done a great job on the back line for the Quakers.
They have done very well at trying to control who is a very dangerous player in Matthew Lynch.
Lefevre controlling it, far side. Totani touches back. Huber looking for Lynch. It was deflected. Now Lynch has it, an opening, a shot, and the answer! Matthew Lynch with the equalizer, 2-2.
Goal scorers scored goals, and the reason they do is because they have the vision of what they want to do before the defenders are able to figure it out themselves. Lynch using his body perfectly, getting the pass into his feet, and he already was turning into his move to his right foot. A great spin on Caleb Bender. Look at the ball played forward. It was deflective. Here's Lynch, turns on Bender, just enough room, and squeezes it between the pipes.
So the Blazers answer even quicker in the second half. First half, it took them 4+ minutes to answer Grant's first goal. Here in the second half, it takes them a little over a minute to get the equalizer from Matthew Lynch. And now we are all knotted up yet again. One more look.
Not sure if Chet Huber will get the assist or not officially on that one because it was deflected before it got to Lynch, but Lynch with a tremendous turn and just so big and strong up front, uses his body so well, and we're back knotted at 2.
For Matthew Lynch, it is goal number 40 on the season. First team All-League senior forward for the Lancaster Mennonite Blazers. This has been a fun one, and we didn't see many goals going that direction that time. Matthew Lynch gets it done.
You've got a 40-goal scorer now and a 38-goal scorer for Quaker Valley in Landon Grant doing battle here. It's been a lot of fun watching these teams and just seeing the star power and the really quality team play that we've seen out here so far in the AA championship game.
A little bit of a push that'll lead to a kick here for Lancaster Mennonite. It'll be Tyler Wagner to take it.
Gives us our chance to mention our championship officiating crew: J. Bruce Weinstock, David C. Mattis, and Eric B. Smith, your officiating crew for tonight's AA boys game.
Wagner, Lynch heads it backwards, and now Tommy Guild clears to the midfield. Not quite out yet. Diller, far side for Steffen. Looking for Lefevre. Good job, good defense. I believe that was Oliver Wilson. And now Landon Grant. So 2 goals from Landon Grant, 1 in each half for Quaker Valley. Shota Totani had the goal in the first half for Lancaster Mennonite. And just a few moments ago, Matthew Lynch getting number 40 on the year and knotting this thing up at 2. 2-2 in the 2A Boys Soccer Championship. This has been a fun one, Brian.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. And the fact that we've seen goals and then answered immediately just shows you how well coached these teams are. Most dangerous time for both teams for scoring is right after a goal is scored, because the other team sometimes lets down, whether they've scored the goal or not. If they've defended or given up the goal, sometimes you'll see teams let down. That has not happened in this game. These two teams have just gone right after it after a goal.
And that was a great lead pass by Lefevre. Lynch just could not quite catch up to it, and a good job by Dom Lagnice to come out and get it. Lefevre trying for the takeaway. Good footwork, sent away by Tommy Guild. Now Frankie Fernandez has it for Quaker Valley. Over to Sebastian Correa. Totani got a piece of it. Now Lefevre. Ball goes to the near side of the field. Wagner and Dom Reeder really battling for it. And now Landon Grant, a little bit too far. And it will trickle over the end line. Goal kick, and Landon Grant down on the ground, at least for a moment, for Quaker Valley.
He was trying to get around the defender on the play, and when he did, and it was check that, not Tyler Wagner over there, it was Andrew Nell who was over there on the side trying to shield that ball over the end line. And when Grant went around him and attempted to keep that ball in, Nell swung the leg out to try to keep him away. It caught Grant in the side and knocked him down. That's why he went down. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, he will stay in the game. Ian Rogers had a brief breather, and he's now back in to come and get Frankie Fernandez. So Coach Andrew Marshall keeping some of his star players fresh, rotating them in and out.
This is tough here, too, because you've got a close game right now, and it's been my experience that a lot of times the bench gets tighter in this situation, not willing to allow the guys who are not the starters to go out there unless they are dead tired or really affecting things in a negative way, letting the guys, your top 11, try to decide things.
Good job by Lancaster Mennonite as Landon Grant was chasing after that long lead. Caleb Bender with the header, and Brett Diller heads it back to midfield. Skied to the far side by Sebastian Correa. Throw in for Lancaster Mennonite as we have a substitution For the Blazers, Mesa Dula, number 11, back into the game, will come and get Chet Huber. And Mesa Dula also got inserted into the game right around this time, right about midway through the first half, and really provided some valuable minutes as a sophomore midfielder.
Yeah, he had a very good first half, and that will give a coach a lot of confidence to bring you back in this spot. So Fred Winey, no problem whatsoever, putting Dula back into the game and hoping that he can repeat what he was doing in half number 1.
Tommy Guild tried to clear, deflected by Wagner. And now Bender over to the far side to Wilson. Matilio to Diller. Andrew Nell moving it forward to Lefevre. Touches it back here to the near side. Nell to Wagner. And it will be a throw-in for the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite. We approach the midway point of the second half. 4 goals in total scored. In the first half, they were 4 minutes apart. Here in the second half, 1.5 minutes apart. But in between all that, a lot of action, a lot of scoring opportunities, and both these teams have been very aggressive all day. Opportunity for Ian Rogers. Fritz Reeder fighting for it. Cleared away into the midfield, nicely done. I believe that was Andrew Nell on that. Lefevre deflects it. It will go out. It'll be a throw-in for Quaker Valley.
And this is also, Ari, when the fitness of these two teams will really be tested as well. And both these teams pride themselves on how hard they work in drills and practices and really keeping that fitness high. Both coaches have talked about it in different interviews that they've done. I mean, they really pride themselves on how well and how fit their teams are. That's going to be tested as this game continues.
Mesa Dula sends it back. Good job by Carter Hurst.
Hurst recognized that Dula did not intend that ball to be back, so he was able to pick up the missed touch.
And to Brett about making sure that those guys aren't slipping.
Dula, Totani with a nice touch for Lynch. Good defense by Bender. Lynch still battling though. And now Lefevre gets control. Sends it in for Lynch. It's a little too far. The keeper comes out. Ball is loose and Lynch is down. Oh, and still playing it and hitting the post is Tyler Wagner as Lynch still lays on the ground in the middle of the box. Wow.
That was an unbelievable sequence of events where Lynch's pressure on the ball won the ball back. Here's Lefevre's ball forward for him, sort of bumped off the play. They didn't clear the ball well enough because of some great pressure from Tyler Wagner, who hits the post and then is able to win the throw-in. And all of that where Lynch is laying there in the middle of the field. If Lynch wasn't hurt on the play, he probably cleans that one up and knocks the ball in to give Lancaster Mennonite the lead. And you can tell he was not able to pop right back up after that one. We go back to that replay and take a look at the initial part of that where Lefevre sends it in. There he is, the shove in the back where it's in the box. You'll see it called sometimes, but it all depends. Very easily could have been called there as Tommy Guild. The only thing he could do to try to backtrack on that one is to put as much pressure on Lynch as he could. And it was enough pressure for them not to call the foul, but also for Lynch not to be able to get the shot off.
Well, when you look at that replay, I know the first replay, I noticed Lynch went down, and then he took his head up to see if the play was still going on. And here's when he got hurt. He kind of got sandwiched in between Guild and then Lagnice comes out. It looks like he hit his knee on Lagnice as he was crashing. And then as the play continues on, Lynch with a peek. Oh, I better look out. And it goes right by his backside and hits the post. How many times have we seen it hit the post and hit the crossbar? I think I need 2 hands to count how many times that's happened.
It's been a lot so far in this game. I mean, we have seen scoring opportunities galore for both these squads. And Coach Winey is going to have to replace Lynch, at least in the short term, but he looks like he's going to be fine.
Yeah, as you see him kind of getting that knee loose and jogging off the field, you can see it's a little bit of a limp, but he's trying to fight it off. Lynch, he's a senior. He's already scored 1 goal today. It's going to be tough to keep him out of the game, but he will have to take a break after getting hit in the knee.
One thing he's probably not going to be doing is sitting down.
Right.
He's going to keep that thing loose, and the trainer's going to be over there working with him, trying to make sure that he can work out the kinks of whatever it was that ailed him.
So it's going to be a throw in here for Lancaster Mennonite. It's all said and done. It'll be Brett Diller to throw it in. And it looks like number 8, Paul Peachy, the junior forward, is who checked in for Matthew Lynch. Headed back by number 8, Will Andrews, sent back in. It's trouble, and taking it on a bounce is Lagnice.
Chet Hoover making just enough pressure on him that Lagnice had to scramble for it. Ball was played in a dangerous position. There's Hoover making the near post run, but Lagnice saw that he wasn't going to get it before the hop.
Caleb Bender. And now a fight for it. This is number 8, Will Andrews. Sent back out by Zach Steffen. Fritz Reeder. Now over to Sebastian Correa. Reeder. Handled by Rogers. Back on the far side. The cross. Headed out nicely by Lancaster Mennonite. And that shot was kicked back by Andrew Nell. Mesa Dula trying to clear. Out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for the Quakers. And the Blazer faithful not happy. Fritz Reeder with it now for the Quakers. Moving forward with space. Trying to give and go.
Dangerous play called.
Dangerous play on that high kick right there, I believe, by number 8, Will Andrews.
It allows everyone to exhale just for a moment.
Let's take a look. Yep. Kicking up high towards the face. Paul Peachy, who just entered the game for Lancaster Mennonite.
That's the key. You can kick the ball up high, you just can't when somebody is that close in a very dangerous area.
Totani with some fancy footwork on the spin move. Now sends it to the opposite side. The lead pass, chasing forward is Huber. And letting it roll out was Peachy, and that'll allow for some substitutions. And here comes Ben Lefevre and Matthew Lynch coming back into the game. And also Landon Grant, who had a quick breather for Quaker Valley. He's back in as well. So it's time for the stretch run with 16 and change to go. I don't think you're going to see those players come out of the game barring an injury.
Not again.
Right.
And that's pretty much why those guys came out when they did, because this is starting to look like you may need more than 80 minutes out of your players. You may need to go into extra time. And it's a lot to ask in a game that's been this high intensity with those key players playing the positions that they do and expending as much energy as they do, to ask them to go without any break at all. So they get the quick one. Now they're back out there and ready to go for the rest of the contest.
Lefevre splitting the defense. And it went out of bounds over the end line, but a nice thought right there by Ben Lefevre. He's had a much more quiet second half, and he did spend some time on the bench, but I think for the final 15 and change, you're going to see a lot of Ben Lefevre.
I would think so, because if I'm Lancaster Mennonite, the offense needs to go through him.
The Blazers still with control. Here's the aforementioned Lefevre. Tried the little give and go with Lynch, but good defense by Caleb Bender of Quaker Valley. Landon Grant up ahead, and letting it trickle out is Andrew Nell. He will throw it in right near midfield. This is Chet Huber. Huber now to Paul Peachy. And letting it trickle out is Huber on the attempted give and go. Kicked out. It'll be another throw in for Lancaster Mennonite. They're trying to inch closer to that corner and try and get the set play. Lefevre gaining control for a moment through a lot of white jerseys and finally kicked away by Bender.
Yeah, needed to find somebody to drop that ball off to, try to do a little bit too much. And you'll see a guy like that, though, sometimes get away with that and make something incredible happen, because that time just didn't have anyone to release to.
Throw in as Tommy Guild for Quaker Valley kicks it away. And again, letting it trickle out is Max Brubaker. It'll be another throw in for the Blazers. Huber sends it back. Dominic Matilio over to Zach Steffen. One more for Shota Totani. Totani had the goal in the first half for the Blazers, and this man, Matthew Lynch, had the goal in the second half. So back to Totani. He goes towards the middle of the field. Over a defender who fell to the ground. Huber sending it back to Steffen. Steffen moving forward. Over to Totani. Totani sends it high, way high, over the crossbar, and it'll be a goal kick for Dom Lagnese.
I love the poise, though, from Lancaster Mennonite. They get the ball to the middle, and they're going to make some substitutions here, get some more guys back onto the field and get some more breathers out there. They send the ball to the middle of the field. They looked to reverse it, saw that it was back open, and Steffen making a run overlapping from the right side, wide open. Feed him the ball, give him the opportunity, and they ended up getting a shot out of it.
Totani and Dula out. Diller and Lapp back in for the Blazers. A touch from Ian Rogers. Fernandez and Landon Grant was racing up ahead. Good defense, nicely done. As a Quaker Valley player went to the ground, still on the ground. And now letting it go out is Dom Reeder. And we may have a stoppage here for an injury, and we do stop the clock. And I believe it could be Rogers. Trying to get a look at the number. Ian Rogers is number 7. He was down there on that last play. I think he either got kicked in the side or got stepped on as he fell to the ground. We'll take a look at this, see if we can get a clean look.
Well, here's the move to the inside, and he got deposited on the ground is what happened to him. As it was two guys going after the ball, and he just took an awkward fall in the middle of the field as he got his hand tangled up with somebody else from Lancaster Mennonite.
Well, just over 12 minutes to go here in regulation of the PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship. It's been a good one. Alongside Brian Kaiser, I'm Ari Bluestein. What a fun game this has been. We've had 4 goals total, quite a few opportunities, some big saves from both goalkeepers, and some big saves from both posts and the crossbar.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of everything in this one. What we haven't seen yet, though, is the goal that's going to win the state championship, and that may or may not be coming in the next 12 minutes and 20 seconds. We don't know at this point.
If you're looking, obviously both teams have been aggressive as you get a look at Ian Rogers coming off the field. Looks like he just got kicked in the side or stepped on the side. Hopefully we see him back in action. A very good player, an all-league player for Quaker Valley, 23 goals and 19 assists this year. You know, both teams have been aggressive all game long. Do you see that continuing, or do you see maybe a little bit more conservatism trying to take this into overtime?
I don't see either one of these teams really getting conservative, but what they may do in the back is be a little bit more safe with what they do.
Well, Landon Grant trying to make something happen, and unfortunately Fernandez couldn't handle it. Now Lynch out in the open field. He's got 3 white jerseys to beat. He's got somebody on the far side. I believe that was Joe Lapp. And now Lynch goes to the ground, and it'll be a direct kick on the foul on Quaker Valley. Lynch has been on the ground quite a bit, and he just keeps getting back up.
He does, and he looks like he's going to be okay again. His speed is the thing you really can't account for, and his ability to get over to the ball and be able to continue to put pressure on the defenders is why he's been so good all season long. player who's really come into his own this year.
Good kick. Huber tried to make something happen. And now Fernandez sends it back, and another Quaker Valley player down as Fritz Reeder down, and frustrated is brother Dom Reeder. And we're going to have to stop the clock again for an injury timeout as you get a look at Andrew Marshall, the head coach for Quaker Valley. Not happy with no whistle blown on that last play. We'll try and get a look at that.
Yeah, they really felt something went on that there should have been a call for. Trainers out there taking a look. It's been a physical game, that's for sure. Here it is. Oh, no question. Late challenge. Very late challenge that time.
And that's why then it was kicked out by Dom Reeder in frustration that nothing was called, and Fritz Reeder is out.
And sometimes that's the toughest call for a referee to see, when somebody's stepping in to challenge a play and the ball's being sent long. If you don't see a deflection, right away the impulse is to maybe start looking up the field. And Coach Andrew Marshall over there on the sideline having a conversation with one of the referees, and you have a player who is key to what they like to do defensively in Fritz Reeder, who has to come out of the game for a little bit at a key stage. It was the follow-through, and that's the one where you'll have ankles really affected by something like that when a guy comes in with the studs up and towards that ankle and catches you on the follow-through.
Lagnice with the high punt across midfield. That's Ian Rogers, by the way, who's back into the game for Quaker Valley, so good to see. Lefevre. Now Lancaster Mennonite trying to control Tyler Wagner towards the middle of the field. He's got some space for Lynch. Lynch tries to leave it for Wagner, but good defense yet again by Quaker Valley. Now the lead for Rogers. Chasing after it is Matilio along with Rogers. Rogers gets around him. He's got some space, and he's still got space, and he finds the back of the net. And Quaker Valley in front yet again, 3-2.
Ian Rogers, a couple of great steps to get past defenders, couple of whiffs, and that's all he needed. Look at him outrunning Matilio to the outside, use the arm just enough to get some clearance, steps to the inside, another whiff on the attempted tackle. And we've got our go-ahead goal here with 10:10 left to go.
And if you're Quaker Valley, you have to be aware that Lancaster Mennonite can equalize it pretty quickly, as they've done so a couple of times today.
Just watch this. Great cut to the inside of the field, and then the right-footed pass, the helpless keeper, Carter Hurst, who had tried to guess to the far side, and he came back to the middle with the shot.
So now under 10 minutes to go, and Lancaster Mennonite is going to have to find an answer, just like they've done all game long. They went down 1-0, got the equalizer 4.5 minutes later. Tied 1-1 at the half. Went down 2-0. A minute and a half later, they got another equalizer. And they're going to need one more if they're going to want a shot at gold here today. A good lead and an opportunity. What's it going to be? It's going to be a corner. So a set piece. Only about 30 seconds after that goal here for Lancaster Mennonite.
Chet Huber making a great run from the far post to the near post to deflect that ball off of a Quaker Valley defender.
Sent in, headed towards goal, Huber, and coming out to cover it up is Dom Lagnice. And right now, Lagnice might be the most important player on the field because he's going to have to come up with a couple of big saves because you know the Blazers are going to attack.
No question about that. As we're going to see him, he's in the focus. Ball went off the face in the middle. I believe it was Brubaker that time who had his face on the ball instead of the head, and that caused it to slow down and not get much power on it.
Totani far side. Taken down. Good job by Quaker Valley. Sent away. by Brubaker. And that's going to be on Chet Huber and Lancaster Mennonite. A little bit too much of a push-off. And we'll have a free kick here for Landon Grant.
See if he takes his time. It's a good time to make sure your shin guards are exactly where they are, that your socks are high enough. It's a cold day. You want to make sure that everything's covered up.
Exactly right. Good ball by Grant, but headed out. But having to make a play on it anyway is Carter Hurst. Quickly rolling it out to Totani, trying to move Lancaster Mennonite forward. Totani tried to go around 3 Quaker Valley Quakers. It didn't work, but it goes out of bounds on the far side, so it'll be a throw-in for Lancaster Mennonite.
I like the idea, though, from Carter Hurst, quickly trying to get that ball out on the restart to try to play that ball. No need to punt the ball. You got a guy who's in Totani who's been dangerous all day. Hurl the ball out to him with your arm and try to get that counterattack going.
Mesa Dula back into the game for Lancaster Mennonite. And I believe Fritz Reeder, number 16, also back into the lineup after going out with an injury. Huber with a good ball. Wagner crashing, and Quaker Valley clears.
Barely. And actually, Huber would have continued moving forward. He may have had a shot with the keeper off of his line.
Lead pass here on the near side. Oh, and it hits the marker, and it's going to end up being a corner kick. So Lancaster Mennonite getting a little help from the marker in the corner.
And remember, it's these larger markers, too, over there in those corners. They're solidly there instead of usually just a flagpole to make sure they stay in place.
Short corner. Sent up into the air by Dom Reeder. And out of the box. And Dula. Now Wagner fighting with Dom Reeder, and Reeder wins the battle. Rogers, who just scored the go-ahead goal moments ago, sends it ahead. Steffen knocks it down and sends it back.
It was a year ago when Lewisburg scored a late goal against Quaker Valley to win the state championship here at AA Boys. This time it may be the shoe on the other foot, as Quaker Valley has scored a goal in the 70th minute to take the lead. Can they hold on?
Well, we've got a little under 6 minutes to go. Lancaster Mennonite setting up, still plenty of time. A great play by Ian Rogers to knock that away from Steffen. Rogers keeps it in. Now a fight for it, Dominic Matilio. And a quick kick over to Diller. To the near side to Nell. Lefevre. Dula going far side. Steffen moving forward. Steffen sends it into the box, looking for Huber, and covering it up is Lagnice. Great opportunity. Huber could not quite capitalize.
And great physicality from the sophomore Tommy Guild on the backside, making sure Huber didn't get enough of that. Steffen with a good ball, dangerous ball, and Guild doing just enough to make sure his goalkeeper could take care of it.
Throw in far side for Quaker Valley. Under 5 to play. And the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite, who have never led in this game, trail it by 1, 3-2. Lefevre headed it backward, sent way away by Fritz Reeder.
The thing I love about what Lancaster Mennonite's doing though right now, they are very composed, and then they blast a ball like that, but they've been very composed in trying to build an attack, even with them down by a goal and with only 4 minutes left to go in this game. They've done a very good job of possessing, trying to work the ball, trying to find some sort of an opening.
Brubaker towards Totani's way. Totani keeps it in. Still fighting. Still fighting through traffic. Oh, and intended for Lefevre, and Bender coming in there with a big play. Huber.
And one other thing to notice, Matthew Lynch, the 40 goal scorer, is over on the sideline has not been able to go anymore in this one after the banging up the knee a couple times.
And a good ball, and Huber and Lefevre both crashing, and Lagnice grabs it. Yeah, that's a huge factor. Matthew Lynch, he's a guy that you could have used right now, but he did come back into the game, but I guess not able to go.
He got knocked down again, and then after that was subbed out shortly after, and we haven't seen him since. It just was not himself.
That's a shame for Matthew Lynch, who scored the second goal of the game for Lancaster Mennonite. But there are other goal scorers on the field. Ben Lefevre, as we mentioned, all-state player, 20 goals on the season. Tyler Wagner, 17 goals on the season.
They don't have a shortage of options.
Right, and Mesa Dula has a few goals as well as a sophomore reserve.
What they have is a shortage of time. And you see right there a very distraught Matthew Lynch not being able to help his team here at the end of this game due to injury.
2 and change to play, moving forward. Diller looking for Nell, but intercepted and knocked away by Dom Reeder. And if you're Quaker Valley, I guess you just want to kick it far and wide. That ball goes straight up.
Everything should be headed far away from the goal. Everything should be kicked far away from the goal unless you have someone to possess the ball for your own team.
Andrew Nell in Wagner's direction. It gets redirected to Lefevre. Lefevre, good footwork. Huber has a potential shot, and it's skies high. And with 1:35 to play, that could be the last opportunity for Lancaster Mennonite, with Lagnice with the goal kick.
We had to rush it a little bit, and you see this ball comes to him, doesn't have much room, doesn't have much time, and he flails at it quickly and sends it over the bar.
And Dom Reeder smartly lets it trickle out. It'll be a throw-in for the Quakers. Quaker Valley lost in the state championship last year to Lewisburg, as we've said a couple of times. This year, they've got another crack at it, and they are 1 minute away from gold.
But looking for state championship number 7 in program history, one of the most storied programs in the state.
Now, the official said to stop the clock, but it kept going. Now it stops at 46, but I think they're going to have to add a little bit of time because the official did signal for a stoppage, as you saw Huber was coming out of the game.
And that has to be, I would guess, that would have to be a blood timeout for him.
Yeah, it looks like that's what it is.
Bloody nose. So he has to come out there. They are working, I believe, on putting that time back on the clock. That is the delay.
Right. It should go up to about a minute, maybe 58, 59 seconds.
And every second counts right now if you're Lancaster Mennonite. I'll tell you what, how good is Lancaster Lebanon League this year? You've got Lancaster Mennonite here in the AA Boys Championship, fighting tooth and nail with Quaker Valley. You've got Hempfield later tonight in the Quad A Boys Championship, and neither one of them won the division. Neither one of them won the LL League Championship this year. That was Elizabethtown, who won, got all the way to the state championship game a year ago.
So it's 59 seconds now on the clock. Quaker Valley looking to hold on. And while they lost in the state championship last year, this would be their first state championship in a long time, and first for Andrew Marshall as a head coach.
2000 last time where they had a piece of the state championship.
Going over to get it is Carter Hurst. He's going to have to get it away quickly. Puts it straight up in the air. Dula on the far side. Maybe one time for one more opportunity for the Blazers. Lefevre sends it forward, but skied out of there by Dom Reeder. 50-50 ball. Under 30 to play now. Brubaker. Landon Grant sends it away. 15 seconds to go. Grant has it. Heads it forward, and that should just about do it. The countdown is on. And your PIAA 2A boys soccer champions are the Quaker Valley Quakers out of District 7, knocking off Lancaster Mennonite in a thriller, 3-2.
Landon Grant, as advertised, had the first 2 goals for them, but both of those were answered by Lancaster Mennonite. It took a tremendous individual effort from Ian Rogers on the game winner with about 10 minutes left to go to give the Quakers the state championship.
As the Quaker Valley Quakers celebrate, we'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll hand out the medals and the trophies here at Hershey Park Stadium. Quaker Valley, your boys 2A soccer champions. We'll be back here on PCN.
These days, life is busy, but amazing. From the sci-fi brilliance of technology to the existence of toast, we move at a crazy pace until this happens. Time for MedExpress. Walk right in, get the care you need, and get right back at it. MedExpress, because life is urgent.
Packed with 9 essential nutrients, low-fat chocolate milk can be an important part of your recovery routine. Refuel with chocolate milk after your next workout.
PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, is an NCAA Division II intercollegiate conference consisting of 18 Pennsylvania schools. And PCN is your place to watch the PSAC Wrestling Championships. The PSAC Wrestling Championships on PCN and on demand with PCN Select, December 15th at 7 p.m. Go to PCNTV.com for more details.
Had your fill of turkey? Tired of football? Looking for something the whole family can enjoy? Then make the pilgrimage over to PCN for our parade of tours. The Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association invites you to spend Thanksgiving Day with PCN Tours to see how your favorite Pennsylvania products are made. Whether you're at home or wish you were, you never have to miss a tour with PCN and PCN Select. PCN, Pennsylvania's neighborhood.
Welcome back to Hershey Park Stadium, Quaker Valley, your 2A boys soccer champions, and we'll hand it over to PA announcer Ryan Hartman to hand out the hardware.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the Lancaster Mennonite sideline. It is time to meet your 2017 PIAA AA Boy runner-up, the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite. Head coach Fred Winey to bestow the medals, starting with Carter Hurst, Gabe Willig, Tristan Benner, Brett Diller, Shota Totani, Chet Huber, Joe Lapp,
get some from the other side.
Ben Lefevre, Paul Peachy, Zach Steffen, Matthew Lynch, Mesa Dula, Dominic Matilio, Tyler Wagner, Max Brubaker, Andrew Nell, Nathan Landis, Josiah Kanegi. Chad Dinger. Josiah Kaniha. Hunter Brubaker. Noah Schwartzentruber. Nathan Longenecker. Owen Nell. Levi Nelson. Cameron Huber. Dominic France. At this time, we would ask that the Blazer seniors please step forward as you are presented with the 2017 PIAA AA Boy Runner-Up Trophy. Congratulations to the Blazers of Lancaster Mennonite High School. And now it is time to meet your 2017 PIAA AA Boys Champion, the Quakers of Quaker Valley High School. Head coach Andrew Marshall to present the medals, starting with Ian Rogers, Landon Grant, Caleb Bender, Josh Nichols, Oliver Wilson, Sebastian Correa, Harrison McDonald, Dom Lagnese, David Lipton, Ian Smith, Antonio Brown, Will Andrews, Pierce Diggins, Thomas David, Nolan Carver, Reese Edwards, Dom Ryder, Fritz Ryder, Cole Lang, Frankie Fernandez, Tommy Gill,
Thanks, Coach. Need some help.
Fisher Hemwall,
Thank you.
Griffin Worth,
Yeah, a little bit.
Brody Jones, Weston Grant,
She's already getting good.
and Hayden Thompson.
Look at that. Good job, boys. Hayden.
And now we would ask that Steve Oberly, JJ Vecchio, and Andrew Marshall please step forward as Quaker Valley High School is presented with the 2017 PIAA AA Boy Championship Trophy. Congratulations to the Quakers of Quaker Valley High School. The Quakers are also being presented with a 5-pound chocolate bar from Chocolate World.
Quaker Valley, your PIAA Boys 2A soccer champions. A well-earned trophy here today and a phenomenal game of soccer.
Yeah, after goals by Grant and Totani in the first half for each team, the second half started off mostly with Quaker Valley the opportunities. There's a shot off the bar, but Landon Grant would turn the ball over and be able to score. Right after that, here comes Matthew Lynch. He equalizes again, and we're back tied up at 2. A little bit time goes by. This may have been one of the key plays in the game. A pass forward, Lefevre looking for Lynch. He gets hurt on the play, and then shortly after that, Ian Rogers the other way gets the championship-winning goal. Jubilation for Quaker Valley.
So the Quakers win the title after falling short here at Hershey last year to Lewisburg. So the District 17 Quaker Valley knocks off Lancaster Mennonite. For my partner Brian Kaiser, I'm Ari Bluestein. Thank you for watching the PIAA 2A Boys Soccer Championship here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
Keep the game going with the PCN Select app. Subscribe now to watch this championship on demand or purchase digital downloads, Blu-rays, and DVDs of PCN Sports Championships. Go to PCNTV.com to purchase today.